We met at church when I was 14, and I had just moved here, so I didn't really know anybody.
I happened to look over the props, and I just seen her walking. She had big puffball hair, it was frizzy and everything. It was swaying like Marsha Brady.
I was attracted to the fact that we met inside church because I just took that as a good sign because I believed that somehow God was involved in it.
We actually started going together before we even knew each other's names. So.
But once I was able to actually go on dates, which was 2 years later, we still went to church mostly on the Sundays and Wednesdays. When I found out I was expecting a child, it was complete shock.
I wasn't really nervous about it. Well, not until I had to go talk to my parents.
I remember for Jeff, after the shock gave way, a huge grin on his face.
I couldn't keep a smile on my face because even though we made a mistake, and I knew God didn't make mistakes now.
And for me, I was still stunned, and I really struggled with a lot of self-doubts and fears.
Well, I proposed before she was pregnant.
I always planned that we were going to be together, but I do think that, finding out we were expecting a child did hurry the process.
The early days of our marriage was pretty difficult, having lived with others and having a baby. Then within 9 months later, we had our second child. We had Joseph, and that was pretty difficult.
An email with a picture uploaded, and it was a picture of my husband and I when we were dating, and it didn't have anything written with it, but the subject line said, "Girl is my ex."
The greatest husband at that time. I already started making bad decisions.
So that was not even a month after we were married, so it was really hard.
I had already started sneaking out to clubs and doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing.
About 3 years in our marriage, Jeffrey was working nights.
Pregnant again with our third child, Cadence. We actually lost Cadence. Cadence kind of went home to be with God. It destroyed me. It made me feel less of a man, less of a father than ever before. I didn't know how to take it. I didn't know how to vent that out. Didn't know how to let that go. So instead of doing what I was supposed to do as a husband, as a father, I started staying out longer and trying to find other releases.
When the kids and I were going to try to stay up because he was supposed to get off a little earlier, I tried to still wait up a little bit, and by 3 a.m. I couldn't stay up any longer, and I finally fell asleep, and the next thing I know, I'm kind of wakened by the sound of Jeff coming home, and I don't remember what time that was, but his words to me were, "I'm sorry if I smell like smoke. Some of the guys I work with smoke like crazy." And I remember saying, "You don't smell like smoke, you smell like perfume."
More ashamed because I wasn't doing the right thing. I wasn't being the man I was supposed to be, and I knew it, but yet I like to say I couldn't stop, but it was real more of a wouldn't stop. So it was just a lot of anger built up in me.
Jeff writing me a letter, and he locked himself in the bathroom, and I read the letter, and it consisted of a confession of numerous affairs he had had, and that's really when my whole world kind of just really shattered. And
I would lie constantly to the point where even I would believe it.
Jeff continued to slip up through the following years, and it wasn't necessarily to the extremes that he had previously, taken things. But each and every time, it was always the same thoughts, the same feelings. It was complete shock that it was happening, and complete shock that it was happening again.
We fell behind on rent, fell behind on making payments for our van. And in my wrongdoings, I also ran up a $1,200 phone bill trying to meet other people. So we had no other choice but to file bankruptcy to save the house and to save the van.
Things started to hurt our relationship even more. There was times that I'd be so hurt and I didn't know how to let go of some of the pain that I would lash out at Jeff.
Income tax came, and by the time that had come, we were behind by a good chunk of money on the house. But we were blessed. The Lord actually provided a way for the money, but instead I took that money and I went out to clubs. And I spent almost $5,000 at clubs and on other people. So we lost our house. We lost her. And the little bit of respect that one had for me, even then, that was gone as well.
There was numerous times that we were faced with a decision of staying together or getting a divorce. With the past circumstances, prior to him actually leaving, the decision was always, the same. It was always, God's going to save us, He's going to help us. And I knew I had the biblical right to, opt out and get a divorce. And I knew that I had that right, but just because I had that right, I didn't know that it was the best decision to get a divorce. I wanted to make sure that it's what God wanted, even though He would have been fine with it.
Finally came to head for me when after the second time I left Alana. She was done with me.
And Jeff came back after the second abandonment and said that he wanted to work it out and that we could do this. And I didn't say yes or no, I just said we'll see how it goes. And I thought a lot on it, and I just felt that abandonment wasn't something I could get past.
She told me, thought we were going to work it out, but she gave me a call and said we're through. She couldn't deal with it anymore, and I really couldn't blame her. And at that point, there's nothing else I could do but give it to God, because she had every right to go. I'd shattered her heart 1,000 different times. And biblically, if you commit adultery, you're allowed to go. And there's nothing I could do. That wasn't my choice. So I had to give it to God.
Away. And then I heard this voice of God telling me, one more time. Just try one more time, and I'll give you the husband that you want and the husband you deserve. And because we have free will, and that's the way that God wants it, God told me, so if He chooses, because of the free will, not to do what I'm wanting Him to do, then I'll take care of him myself.
It was God. It was definitely God, because I thought it was over. Milana made sure she told me it was over, but she came home and she was mad, but she said she was staying, which is weird. But she said God had told her that she has to stay, and if not, He was going to get me. And that's kind of puts a little fear in you when God sends that message to you.
The relationship now is safer, and it's where we can be openly honest with each other, even about the small things or about the big things. We can openly express how we feel to each other about whatever it is.
But there were some stipulations this time, a little different than before. Devonna reads all my text messages. She reads all my emails. She knows the passwords to my emails. She knows the passwords to my Facebook. There are blocks on the TV, and there are blocks on the computer to where I can't get to certain sites.
Now is we're actually closer, and I know it sounds crazy that the things that we went through actually brought us to that point, but it did. And I don't think that if we hadn't went through those things, we wouldn't be as close as we are today.
She's now my rock, and she holds me strong. The relationship now is amazing. I'm even more attracted to her now than ever before. the guilt and everything, the shame that I had, it blinded me from so many things that God was trying to show me before. Of course we have our ups and downs still. I mean, we still have our arguments, but we're different. But God put us together for a reason. But I know at the end of the day now, it's just because I know she loves me more than anything at the end of the day. That's all that really matters.
See, in the years, months, days, weeks to come, whatever it may be, somewhere in there I see us buying a new house, trying again with that. I see raising our kids in love and teaching them about Jesus, and I see nothing but really good things. But the things I'm most excited about, as crazy as it sounds, is just the next time he's going to hold my hand or kiss my cheek or, run into the door to greet him when he comes home. And there's going to be lots of those moments, so that's what I'm most excited about and looking forward to.